So the mystery codex is Codex Imperial Agents, to the surprise of very few people at this point, and the Ordo Xenos military wing, the Deathwatch, is rolled into them. Well, sort of. The Deathwatch range has been stripped way back, further than I was expecting, so there's a video you may want to watch for one last time. It is just the units that they sell, and not Kill Team Cassius by the sound of it. Rest well, my firstborn favourites. If you hadn't found the Genestealer cult infestation, then I would never have been able to play them. So the Imperial Agents Codex has Watchmasters, the Corvus Blackstars, and Watch Captain Artemis. The firstborn Deathwatch kill team, the very basic one, is the only one that continues as far as we know. If you have the basic off-the-shelf bought units, you can add them to any Imperial army. Or technically Genestealer cult if you go down the Brood Brothers detachment and use rules exploits. This still works! Every model in the army can be Imperium, so you should check out that video. I've linked that at the end so you'll be able to click on it as long as you're not auto-playing on your phone. Okay, so people with a few Deathwatch units can add them to other Imperial armies. Instead, you could field an entire army of all Deathwatch units, but that is looking like a much smaller roster. Maybe in the Ordo Xenos detachment we'll be able to add some Requisition Space Marine units just to pad it out a bit. I'll explain Requisition more in a minute. You can still field your Deathwatch in a Space Marine army with Deathwatch kill team units, just like how you could add a Vindicare Assassin to your Space Marine army using the assigned agents rule. However, there won't be any Spectres kill teams or Fortis kill teams as far as we know. And more than that, or rather less than that, we don't know if the units will have the Oath of Moment, or if they will just get the assigned agents faction rule. Presumably that. I expect they will also lose their Adepta Sororitas keywords, so they won't be able to get benefits from the Space Marine detachments like the stratagems that specify Adepta Sororitas models. Will Space Marine characters be able to join Deathwatch units, like the Watch Captain and the Apothecary joining a kill team? Don't know. Presumably not. Having Deathwatch as Imperial Agents also limits the amount of Deathwatch units you can take, even if lots of kill team rule variants are available. I doubt that the Proteus kill team will be. So 2,000 points of Deathwatch Space Marines will be Artemis, a Watchmaster, and 2 Deathwatch kill teams. The rest will have to be Space Marines. That's the limitation of the assigned agents rule. There is going to be an Ordo Xenos detachment for playing Imperial Agents in their Imperial Agents Codex, but how good it is, and if it's just going to be playing 6 kill teams and 3 Watchmasters as your army, well, you're barely over 1,000 points then. It may be a rework of the Black Spear Task Force, or just something more general. These changes are generally seen as a bad thing. The whole kill team system is not so much reworked, but gone completely. And a lot of our units with it, but there are still good things. There's another step with Agents of the Imperium. Some units are now requisitioned units, so they're from other codexes and can be used like they are agents of the Imperium. As an example, Battle Sisters and Grey Knight Terminators, presumably among other battle line units from other Imperial factions. It is confirmed that the Grey Knights are getting their own codex, they're not being rolled into Imperial Agents, but the Grey Knight Codex isn't coming out until 2025. Among other requisitioned units, I am hoping for Kazakin, and then I can have my Inquisitorial Stormtroopers back in my Battle Sisters army. 3rd edition is back, baby! It also looks like a requisition selection also lets you bring a vehicle, like the Battle Sisters can come with a Rhino or other dedicated transport. That's good. Another good thing, the Deathwatch are still here. They didn't get squatted, which is probably a term we shouldn't use anymore since the squats have come back, it just took like 7 editions. So I can now field Deathwatch units along my Battle Sisters like I did last edition. The whole reason, initially, that I got the Deathwatch. I mean, what do you do if the heretic is an orc? You need Deathwatch specialist advisors. You don't get advisors if there are demons. There are no demons. Not after last time. For Space Marine players, you can have a much greater and weirder mix of Space Marine units in your Space Marine army. You can have generic Space Marines, including Scouts, Devastators, and Tactical Marines, add in Blood Angels units like the Death Company, and then on top of that, have the very cool Deathwatch veterans. I also hear you can get Deathwatch models pretty cheaply second-hand right now. And we have new boxes available, or they're going to be available. They are Battleforces, so we're looking at £135. That's 215 American dollars or 175 euros. Kind of pricey. There is one for the Adepta Sororitas. Is it going to be worth buying it for sisters though? If you're an Adepta Sororitas player, it's probably a bit costly. It gives you Battle Sisters, which can also be built as Dominions. They are a really common box to get in like all of the combat patrols. You also get a Ministorum Priest, the one with a power weapon and pistol, that loadout. You get Greyfax for all you Celifax shippers out there, and the nice looking Inquisitorial Acolytes. For the rarer models, it may be a sort of discount, but make sure you want everything in the box before you buy it. Otherwise, make sure you know someone who wants it, and you're going to sell those units secondhand. Like if you don't want the Arbites, know that you can sell them to someone. And they should sell because as a kill team in the game Kill Team, people do want them. For Deathwatch players, there is their own Ordo Xenos box. It gives you 5 Deathwatch veterans, a flyer. People like the flyer. I'm less of a fan of the flyer because I don't think flyer rules are integrated very well into 10th edition. You get Lord Inquisitor Draxus, and the hard-to-get Inquisitorial Kill Team from elsewhere. Maybe they will have combat patrol rules. At this point, there's no mention of it, but maybe they will either in the Codex or in a future White Dwarf. There has already been in the White Dwarf a combat patrol version of the Imperial Fleet Detachment. There's also the Ordo Malleus box, which has the new Corteaz model, which I just don't like. And not a lot of people do. It's far too plain. It looks like a basic Stormcast Eternal. You could have a basic Stormcast Eternal instead. And the bird was much better on his shoulder when they were all on a 25mm base rather than what looks like 2 40mm bases. And the bird that's flying into a pillar will probably just be a token anyway. The Imperial Agents Codex having 4 detachments means that potentially, if there's an Ordo Hereticus detachment, that means that the Adepta Sororitas could have another detachment to call upon. Probably won't work too well, but it may be nice to have a go just in a very small game. And I've picked up quite a few agents of the Imperium in the last few years, so I can try out these detachments. So what do we do about the Deathwatch? My suggestion is, you can just keep playing with Index Deathwatch if you had more fun with that than whatever Imperial Agents can offer you. If you have regulars at your gaming club, some may call them friends, they will probably let you have fun using whatever rules you want while you continue hang out with them and eat tea and biscuits. My gaming group is normal. I can prove it, just let me know in the comments what kind of biscuits you eat when gaming. I'm assuming nothing too chocolatey because then your fingers will get sticky. If your group is more keen on using the most up-to-date rules, just keep saying that you haven't been able to find the Codex, or it was sold out, or you haven't got round to it. Then just keep using that same excuse for 2 more years until 11th edition changes a lot more stuff. And while I do accept tip money, if anyone gave me exactly £35 for a Codex right now, I would know that it was vindictive to stop me using that excuse. I will still keep up with playing Deathwatch along with the Adepta Sororitas and the Genestealer Cult and a little bit of Chaos Space Marines every now and then. Oh yeah, so have a look at the rules exploit for having a Genestealer Cult army with Imperial Agents, or if you are continuing with Index Deathwatch, here are my rules and unit advice for them. I'm sure you'll let me know what you feel about the changes anyway, so have a great day of 40k.